Hey guys! So as you know, the Swan Princess is going to be doing a live-action remake, and as I explained in my top 10 fan casting choices for Odette, so far it only has a concept trailer. So it has not been cast yet, and has yet to be put into production. Since I've already done a two-part video about my top 10 choices for the Swan Princess herself, I thought I would do a video about my casting choices for the rest of the characters in the movie. You know, the characters that aren't the Swan Princess. I'm also including 2 additional characters, and I will talk about who I will cast for them after I talk about the already established characters from the Swan Princess. I will be excluding characters like Bromley, the animal sidekicks, and Bridget, also known as the Hag, because while I enjoy them as characters, I don't think they'd work in a live-action setting. Please keep in mind that this is just my personal opinion. Don't attack me because I have the power to delete your comments. Anyway, cue the Swan Princess intro. Let's start things off with the dashing hero of the story, Prince Derek. This is a character that is meant to be charming, but also flawed. We need an actor that can have that level of charisma and likability, but also be able to show how flawed the character is, especially with his big mistake of the iconic "what else is there" scene. The actor needs to be able to have an endearing presence to help make Derek's mistakes show him as human and not just some shallow idiot that he is stereotyped as by people who criticize the Swan Princess. However, the role also requires the actor to have some really strong singing chops for the vocal demands of Far Longer Than Forever and any other possible songs that they'll add to the film. After all, you do have to think about that whole Best Original Song nomination. This was an easy choice for me to make, and that choice is Derek Kalina. No, I did not just pick him because he has the same name as the character. He really has a strong likability and endearing charisma to him that is just perfect for the character. He is mainly known for his Broadway work, particularly as Dimitri in the Anastasia musical, but he also has experience with screen acting as well, and his charm is just as strong. Not to mention that he clearly has the voice to pull off the vocal demands of this role. His voice is perfect for a fairy tale prince like Derek.
And then she smiled with the sun in my eyes. She was
But let's not give him Derek's weird haircut, please. But anyway, Derek Kalina as Prince Derek. Next up, we have the main antagonist of the film, Rothbart. The character is played as menacing in the original film, but there are times he is played as a bit silly. While this works fine in the original anime film, I don't think it would work as well in live action. That's not to say he shouldn't be fun or just a stick in the mud, but there needs to be a balance. Part of that balance is finding someone who can manage to portray the character's menacing nature, but also have some low-key humor and be full of charisma. His singing isn't really something that is that important because Rothbart never really had that great a voice to begin with, so long as the voice still suits him and isn't totally unlistenable like Pierce Brosnan and Gerard Butler or Russell Crowe. That's enough to make anyone avoid a musical like The Plague. But I also want to cast a real redhead for the role because I'm tired of redheads not only being replaced in favor of race bending, but also very rarely being played by redheads that are actual redheads. No more just dyeing someone's hair red for the role. I managed to find someone who fits all of these requirements, and that person is Toby Stevens. He has the right look for the character, which will be made even better by costuming and the hair and makeup department. Incredible acting is in his blood, because he is the son of not one, but 2 brilliant and critically acclaimed actors, Dame Maggie Smith and Sir Robert Stevens. He shows that he can play a menacing character with his performance as Captain Flint in the show Black Sails, where his voice really manages to capture the same energy that Jack Palance had.
in the dark there is discovery. There is possibility. There is
close to doing it as we are right now.
As well as show that he can play a villain that is humorous and charismatic with his performance as Prince John in Robin Hood.
I love the refusal before the surrender.
Just imagine the phenomenal performance he'd be able to give as Rothbart by combining both of these types of characters together. He also has a decently good singing voice, nothing that great, but a voice that does suit the character of Rothbart.
You're a foxy lady, and I'm a foxy guy. When I look into your eyes, it makes me wanna cry.
So Toby Stephens as Rothbart. Next, we have a fan favorite character, Lord Rogers. For this role, we need someone who is on the older side and is capable of playing characters that have a dry wit, but can be physically comedic without going too far. It also wouldn't hurt if he could sing, since Rogers does sing a little bit in the first film. There were a few actors I considered for the role, such as Hugh Grant, Rowan Atkinson, and even Daniel J. Lewis. However, I ultimately went with David Hyde Pierce, who is well known for playing characters very similar to Rogers, particularly his performance as Niles Crane in the show Frasier.
No, this takes back. What's it forwards? Perhaps if you start at the end, you'll have better luck. Stanley Barrister is a 60-year-old man who wears a toupee that looks like something he pulled out of a shower drain. You are 41 and obviously not wearing a toupee.
Niles, I would shave my head for you. A gesture which becomes less significant with each passing year.
Cheap, manipulative pseudo-psychology.
Always go to your strengths.
He also has experience on Broadway, so he can sing and has a voice that does suit Rogers.
And now what? $500,000! But proudly I confess that in my pocket is that penny, is that shiny little penny, is that penny that's the secret of my success.
So David Hyde Pierce as Lord Rogers. Next up, we have another fan favorite character, Queen Uberta. This is a character that really needs the right actress in order for the character to work. She has qualities that can be considered annoying if the right actor isn't able to make the character come off as absolutely hilarious and charismatic in order to make those qualities not come off as bad. Sandy Duncan portrayed the character perfectly, and I did consider having her reprise her role in the live action, but she's currently 75 years old. While that would be able to work for the character after the "this is my idea" sequence, it would make it hard for the audience to believe that she would be the mother of a young child at the beginning of the movie. So I wanted to go with an actress that is on the younger side. There were a lot of actresses that I considered for the role, enough for me to do a top 10 list. However, I ultimately decided to go with Kristen Chenoweth. She is known for playing characters that are flamboyant, energetic, egotistical, larger than life, pushy, demanding, and shouldn't be characters that we like, but we end up loving them because they are so hilarious and entertaining. Basically, everything you want for a character like Uberta. She's even played over-controlling mothers like Velma Von Tussle in Hairspray Live. Plus, I just love the idea of this domineering battle axe of a character being played by this tiny little woman. That's just awesome. But I also think she'd be able to bring some nuance to the character by showing her as a caring mother that wants the best for her son as well as for her kingdom. Not to mention that Kristen Chenoweth has a brilliant singing voice. If she was cast in the role, she better get her own solo song.
They better get set for a full-out assault. They should never have my own bliss.
Plus, she would become one with her flamboyant costumes that would be so much fun, designed by the phenomenal Nephi Garcia, also known as Designer Daddy. Anyway, Kristen Chenoweth as Queen Uberta. Next up we have Chamberlain, who is often exasperated with being bossed around by the over-the-top Queen Uberta. This is a character that is pretty much the animated equivalent of the character Lionel from the Cinderella movie starring Brandy Norwood. He's over the top, but in all the right ways. Isn't one of those comic reliefs that screams a lot and takes his mistreatment with a grain of salt and a headache, of course. It was easy deciding who to cast for this role. Josh Gad. The characters he plays fits the character of Chamberlain like a glove, especially his role as LeFou in the live-action remake of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. He's like a teddy bear that can't catch a break, not to mention he has a great voice, which is important for his big musical number, Princesses on Parade.
Welcome to your life, and there's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior.
So Josh Gad as Chamberlain. And here we've come to the last of the established Swan Princess characters with the character of King William. It's important to get an actor that can portray his sincerity and have a strong connection with Odette to make his death all the more heartbreaking and make us feel for Odette's pain of losing not only her freedom, but the only parent she's ever known all in one night. This is something that is hard to pull off with a character that is only in the movie for a short while, but it can be done, especially with the right actor in the role. I've considered a few actors for the role, such as Victor Garber and Hugh Jackman. However, in the end, I decided to go with Kevin Kline. First of all, he actually does look a lot like the character. Secondly, he has such a loving and sincere warmth to him that would make William's love for his daughter feel so genuine. He also has experience playing a doting but overprotective father in the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast, where he plays Maurice.
I knew a girl like you who was so ahead of her time. Different. People mocked her. Until the day they all found themselves imitating her.
Not to mention, he has a great singing voice.
But I'll be true to the song I sing and live and die a pirate king.
So Kevin Kline as King William. Now we've come to the two additional characters I'm adding. I'll be quick with the first one, which is Odette's mother, queen to be named later. Disney's live-action remakes have a thing for showing the deceased mothers of the Disney princesses, or, in the case of the Aladdin remake, just mentioning her throughout the film. For this character, I'm casting Jennifer Morrison because ever since Once Upon a Time, everyone, including myself, has been saying she looks exactly like Odette. She's too old to play Odette, but she can still play her mother. In that show, she played a woman giving birth very well, and it's considered her best performance in the show.
Keep going. Yeah. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Big breath, big breath. Okay, now big push, big breath. Here we go.
Plus, she has a beautiful voice, so she could sing a lullaby to her newborn baby daughter that foreshadows Odette's journey in the movie the same way All Is Found did in Frozen 2, right before she dies. So Jennifer Morrison as Odette's mother. Lastly, we have a character that was in the original ballet that most fans, including myself, want to be included in the live-action remake, and is one of the reasons that justifies why this remake would work. That character is Rothbart's daughter, the Black Swan herself, Odile. This is a character that will work so much better than the Hag because of how Odile is a seductive and sensual character, whereas the Hag is just silly and wacky. Odile would make the fake Odette move and act like herself rather than just acting like Odette. That way, she's trying to seduce Derek, and that would help Derek sense something is off about her, proving he loves Odette for more than just her looks. But I'll get more into that with a video I'm doing in the future about what I want to see in the live-action remake of the Swan Princess. Odile is a character that needs to be portrayed as sassy, snarky, seductive, deceptive, be shown as Odette's opposite, and be devious, but also be able to portray herself as an anti-hero similar to Catwoman. The way the character is portrayed in the anime film from the 1981 adaptation of Swan Lake is pretty much the characterization I would go with, but with more nuance and a portrayal like an anti-hero rather than a full-blown villainess. So this is a character that requires a strong and versatile actress that can play such a complex and fascinating character. There is only one choice I have for this role, and I can't imagine anyone else but Bella Thorne. Despite being considered quote-unquote controversial, she's an absolutely brilliant actress that can play a variety of different roles. The projects she's in aren't always good in quality, but her performance is always phenomenal because she puts her heart and soul into every role she's been in. She's become the character and transforms herself, particularly in the movie Girl, for which she received critical acclaim and was being given Oscar buzz, only to be snubbed by the idiot Oscars. She has experience playing villains and absolutely eating up the role deliciously, especially in You Get Me and The Duff. In the former, she is menacing and frightening, while also being complex and even humorous at times.
Drop it.
Okay.
Now what?
We work, you and me, together.
You're right.
We're perfect together.
Put down.
Liar. Now see, I was even gonna let you live. Crazy, right? Because it was just so obvious that Tyler loves me more than he loves you. You just kept getting in the way. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Which one of you is gonna go?
While with the Duff, she takes a one-dimensional mean girl character and makes her so entertaining with her humor and snark.
I've tried to be nice. Have you?
I know it's sorry. Take the blue ones, they're sugar-free, and I know you're trying to watch that kind of thing. That's what sucking at life looks like.
Not to mention that she does have a beautiful voice. No, I'm being serious. Ignore all of her terrible music she's been putting out and listen to this.
Try to sell me all these things, but love is really all I need. I don't know what they're fussing about. I don't care what they talk about. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Plus, she's even disguised herself as a white swan before. She's gorgeous, has the right look, is undeniably sexy, has a pretty good singing voice, and is a brilliant actress. She's literally perfect for the role. Plus, the amazing costuming by Nephi Garcia / Designer Daddy would make her even more perfect for the role. Yes, I know this is the second time I've mentioned Designer Daddy, but his work is so amazing. Plus, I might be trying to make up for how in a previous video I accidentally mispronounced his name. Don't judge me! But anyway, Bella Thorne as Odile. So what did you think of my choices? Who would you like to see in these roles? Let me know what you think in the comments and be respectful. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, comment. I love comments. Take care!